Welcome to the Fire Mountain Gems and Beads Jewelry Making Studio. I'm Rose, and I heard that you are interested in learning how to become a jewelry designer. You're brand new, and that's okay. You got to start somewhere. Well, I've been a jewelry designer here for 17 years, so I've gone over some of those hurdles, and I want to help you get over the hurdles too. So I put together 6 lists that will help you jump the hurdles and become a great jewelry designer. So the first thing is, where do you get the ideas in the first place? Well, you can get inspiration from anywhere, from nature, from a good story somebody told you, from something you saw on the red carpet. Well, the best inspiration I've ever come across is our gallery of designs at Fire Mountain Gems. There's over 20,000 different pieces of jewelry there with great photos. You can learn how to make them just by looking at the photos. And that's our first list, inspirations of good starting projects. So the first one on my list is this little necklace. It's just simple stringing. You would learn how to use a crimp bead. Very easy, basic, getting started type of design. And then we advance a little bit from that. This is also simple stringing with just learning how to use a crimp bead. But I've added these little bead frames and also this little drop on the bottom, which is just put on with a jump ring. But it's another skill. It's getting started. This one, this beaded links. By the time you've finished all the beaded links in this necklace, you will be really, really good at making simple loops. That's another great technique. These are so easy to do. This is called an almost instant jewelry. And you buy the ear mount, and all you have to do is glue the Swarovski crystal in. And look at that. This is a super great project for fundraisers because it takes hardly any labor at all. You can just go to town on that. And last one, there's lots more designs, but these are the ones I thought would be good starters. People think that looks really hard, but you know what? It's almost like that very first one. It's just simple stringing. It just happens to be 3 strands. It's got this cool skull connector here. Next thing you need are tools. But the fact is, there's really only 5 you really need to have. And the first one on my list of 5 tools is a pair of flat nose pliers. These are used to open and close jump rings. They are used to make a 90-degree bend in a piece of wire. Excellent for that. Next would be chain nose pliers. My preference is a bent chain nose pliers. In fact, I like the bent chain nose so much that instead of using flat nose and bent chain nose, I use 2 bent chain nose. Number 3 are round nose pliers. These are what you use to make loops. Number 4 is some really good quality flush cutters. You can get by with the economy versions of those other pliers, but I highly recommend you spend a little money on the flush cutters. That's really important for jewelry making. These have to be Lindstrom's. There's lots and lots of good flush cutters. Some of them have nippers on the end. That might be your preference. Everyone has a preference. So those are the other one on the top 5 is crimping pliers. All those simple stringing necklaces I showed you in the inspirations list, those are simply crimped on the end to end that necklace. So very important. Those are the top 5. So you've got your tools, you've got your ideas, you got to have something to put it all together with. So we're going to talk about the materials. Beads, those things, you need the beads, of course, and you can go anywhere you want with those. You can be very expensive or very low end, whatever you want. But some things got to put the beads together. We call those findings. Most of the things on my materials list are findings, but not all of them. Number 1 for materials that you need to have, and it is a borderline finding, is some flexible beading wire. There's lots of them on the market. They're generally like a cable. My favorite is a 49-strand stainless steel 0.019-inch diameter cable. So you've got your beading wire. So the next thing you need are the crimp tubes. These are little 2x2, little sterling silver tubes that hold that wire together to finish your necklace. Jump rings. Oh my gosh. See all the jump rings on my table? I'm using a lot of jump rings on this particular project. So it's holding all these things together. That's definitely a finding. That's something that's holding everything together. Jump rings, I like the 4mm 20 gauge at a minimum. I use those almost every day. But I also like the 6, the 8. I don't like a jump ring that's less than 20 gauge. And remember that gauge, the bigger the number, the thinner the wire. So anything that's like 21, 22, they're too wimpy for me. Say 20 gauge or heavier. Head pins. I'm using a lot of head pins on this design too. It's like a little straight pin, and it's what you put your beads on so you can make a drop. A lot of people would say eye pins belong on this list too. An eye pin is the same as a head pin. It's just got a loop on one end. So what I say is just get head pins. 2-inch, 21 gauge will take you everywhere. And if you decide you want an eye pin, cut the head off of the head pin and make a loop. You got an eye pin. Nice thing about that, it's easy to make 2 loops that are the same when you're making them both. It's hard to make one loop that looks just like the machine end on the other side. So, clasps. Oh my gosh, there's so many different kinds of clasps. The basics I would say would be lobster claw clasp. I like the swivel lobster claws, but you'll have to put a jump ring on the other end of that to clamp onto your necklace. Or toggle clasps. Toggle clasps are called bar and ring clasps. Those are great too. Okay, we've got tools, we've got our ideas, we've got the materials we need to work with, and we probably bought some beads in a boss's bead bag or something. But we've got the beads. Next is the workspace. Where are you going to do your work? Because I tell you, when I'm working on my dining room table, I got to keep the cats out of it. So in your workspace, we have a list for you. Number 1 on the list, good lighting. I'm in a TV studio here, so we got great lighting in here. But I also have an arm light that I can move the light around to work where I want to work with the light, preferably a natural type daylight light. Next, a sturdy level table. This one's pretty good, yeah, because sometimes you need to pound on your table, and of course you don't want your beads to roll off. Number 3, some way to protect your project from exterior forces like cats, dogs, toddlers. It might take just a cover, but some way to protect your project while you're working on it. Climate control. It's no fun working in a freezing basement or an overexposed hot attic. So get your fan, get your heater, whatever keeps you comfortable. Number 5, a computer or a smartphone. Because when you're making jewelry, you're always looking up new techniques on how to make stuff. And when you're me, you're always doing some more shopping for beads. So yes, a computer or a smartphone is pretty much an essential thing to have in your workspace. Okay, we're almost ready. We got the tools, we got the stuff, we're ready to build. To be a successful jewelry artist, there are some techniques you really should know how to do. So I have a list. Number 1, how to crimp with crimp tubes and beading wire. This is the easiest way to finish a necklace. Number 2, how to make a simple loop and a beaded link. Simple loops are essential and one of the most difficult skills to master. Don't worry about it. You can do it, and unless you're entering contests or selling, most people will never notice if your simple loops are less than perfect. You can use either simple or wrapped loops to create beaded links. Number 3, how to open and close a jump ring. Jump rings can be a challenge. Have you noticed that when a necklace breaks, it's usually at the jump ring? Learn the best way to close a jump ring with no gaps to prevent breakage. Number 4, how to tie a square knot and a surgeon's knot. Having a knot come undone is as frustrating as having a crimp fail or a jump ring open up. Learn how to make good, strong knots. Number 5, how to use 2-part epoxy. Jewelry life became so much easier for me when I discovered 2-part epoxy. It cures so fast and it is so strong. We have one more list. Is your brain full yet? I hope not. This one's going to be super easy because what we have is a list of links that send you to articles and tutorials and videos that can help you learn about all these things I've just talked about on your list. The techniques, the ideas, the inspirations. Time for you to go out and learn some more, and I have to get back to my project. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope this helps you out on your beading journey. Happy beading!